quiet launching. This is for people who are introverted or shy and may struggle with the big sales razzmatazz of doing a big launch, and it can feel really stressful and uncomfortable, and maybe you feel icky about selling. For me personally, I'm shy. I am quite introverted and I don't really want to have a big razzle dazzle, have a big launch. I find it really stressful. I'm not someone who naturally sells. And a few years ago, sort of pre-pandemic and then during the first lockdown in 2020, I was doing the big razzle dazzle launch on Facebook, and I found it really, really stressful. I was trying to navigate my autistic son and care for him and really show up as a parent, but also trying to do this like, yay, I'm amazing, have a big launch. And it was so stressful. And so for a good while, it put me off launching. I just found it really repulsive and uncomfortable, and I didn't want to do it. But the thing is, here's the thing, that if you don't launch and you don't do that thing, then you're not selling your course or your program. So there has to be a middle ground. And I'm a great believer in selling on evergreen. But I also think that some people don't necessarily buy from an evergreen, and you're better to also have a launch. So the live interaction, people want to get to know you in order to buy. But how do you do it in a way where it's comfortable and it's not awkward, it's not difficult and challenging, but it's also that you can sell without any of that stress and without any of that mayhem and the whole online schmazzle, I'm amazing thing. So the first thing for me was to stop doing Facebook groups. And I've really talked about doing a Facebook challenge and why I stopped doing this in another video. But that was like a massive deal for me. The second thing was that I worked on building my email list, because if you build your email list, then you can sell directly into someone's inbox. You can write emails, you can schedule those emails and write to people. So you're emailing people, you're telling stories, but you don't have to be like, I'm amazing. And it doesn't have to be loud and shouty. And so you can schedule things. So I scheduled my last launch that I've just done. I scheduled it way before the summer holidays. So it meant that I had everything scheduled. I had the summer holidays where I was 100% present for my son. I literally had about 5 days to myself. The rest of the time I was a single parent caring for my son. And so that's intense, that's really full on. And so it meant once that, period, 6-7 weeks was over, then it was then back into like getting him ready for school, everything else. Now, if I hadn't have set up everything in advance, I would have then started everything and be like, oh my God, I've got to do this big launch and it would have meant that time ticked by before I was ready for this big launch. But because my launch was easy and simple, it meant that it was ready to go. And it means it holds me non-negotiable. So I can have a launch 3-4 times a year because I put the date in the diary, it's on the calendar, and I then can, schedule the emails, I can plan the date for the webinar, I can do all of those things, which I talk through in much more detail. I've got a free guide to this below, so check out that link below. And it means that I make the whole process easy. And so I really believe that selling can be easy. It doesn't have to be stressful. It doesn't have to be this big noisy thing. So if you are anything like me, where you kind of are more introverted and you want to sell but you don't want to feel awkward and you want to avoid the ickiness, then check out my freebie below. But really think of how can you simplify your launch? How can you make it easier so that you're going to do it more often? Because when you you're not going to enjoy the process. No one says, oh, I enjoy launching, or maybe they do if they're crazy. But you can make it as pleasant as possible so that it's fun, it's a nice experience, it's not stressful. And then it means you're going to do it more often, because the brain goes, oh, that wasn't a terrible thing, that was okay, I can do that again. Whereas if it's this big drama and stress and the whole family is disrupted and you are completely burnt out from the process, yes, you might have made an amazing 6 figures, and yes, you might have had this amazing big launch, but if you're completely exhausted in the process, well, are you going to repeat it? Possibly not. So make it as easy as possible for yourself so you get it done. And so you repeat the process often and regularly so you're selling, because that's what it's about. You want to be selling, but sell in a way that suits you, that suits your personality, without feeling sucky and stressed and burned out. So if this resonates, check out my link below, and I would love you to subscribe. I share lots of tips and strategies to help you build and grow your online business through courses and selling your courses on repeat. And I would love you to stick around and see you again. Thanks so much. Bye, bye, bye.